Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Cynosure, the center of attraction. Today let's talk a little bit about leaders, leadership and their traits. John Maxwell says, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way and shows the way. When I thought about this particular quote, it resonated with the story that happened with me. Some years ago, a couple of my friends and I got on a boat. It was a boat ride to a very close by island. And that morning looked like the sea was completely furious, perhaps because of the storm that it had seen the previous evening. So ignoring, and yet we ignored the yellow life jacket. We got on the ferry boat and 20 minutes on water, we could see the boat taking wave after wave that ebbed in fury. And every time I saw that, my worry heightened. I cannot even explain how worried I was. And as soon as I spotted one huge wave literally kissing the nose of the boat that we were boarded on, I turned to look back at the boatman, and he had let go of the steering wheel and had his hands up in the air like this. A boatman or a captain is a leader of the ship that he is ferrying. Same like your vehicle or even a flight. Can you imagine the captain looking completely lost, not knowing where to go? Usually, a tendency for people outside the boat would be to blame people because we definitely had not put on our life jackets. But when you get onto a boat or even a flight or a ship, you place your trust in the boatman, in the captain of the ship or the pilot. So when they look lost, definitely people like me, passengers, would blame the leaders. And most often, it is perceived that leadership traits are innate. When I say that, it is inborn. But to tell you the story about my boat, that day, it was not the boatman. It was a divine intervention that the boat cut through that big wave, thumped on the water, and we sailed on. And today I am literally talking, or I lived on to tell the story. But it definitely inspired me to tell the story about leadership. A lot of us get into various teams and we look up to our leaders. In a crisis, we look up to them to help us manage. Help the situation to be managed, not just managed. When a situation or a crisis arises, when you as employees, what do? You look up to your leaders to check whether they're blaming the situation, they're blaming the people, or they're blaming themselves or taking on responsibilities and solving that. And that's a good trait of a leader. If someone takes ownership and starts looking at things to change and for the betterment of employee without blaming anybody, then I think that's a good trait of a leader. For the purpose of today's discussion, let's discuss a few traits or characteristics of leadership that I have come across. Some are theoretical, I have read in some books, and some that I have seen. So the first one is transactional. Now what it means is, it's very simple. I give you a task and this is what you will deliver your service for a simple price. That's it. No dramas there. And the next one is democratic. The most favored one, I understand, because it involves consultative participation, where the leader is interested in what his people are interested in. Do they resonate with what his purpose or his goal is? So that's democratic. Then there is autocratic. When I say this, I can only think about Hitler and Napoleon and Mussolini. Do I need to explain more what it is? It is just the simple way, my way or the highway. That's it, no question asked. Then there are other traits like the strategic, a visionary leader who really is interested in the people's goal, who wants people to carry alongside with him. And this is my favorite. I love to give a reference of Mahabharata. Coaching. I think this is something that I like personally because Dronacharya used coaching technique to create a leader. And likewise in our history we have seen Chanakya, he literally created emperor of an urchin. And finally, we have the bureaucratic leadership, which is somebody like, as the name suggests, I will strictly go by the books. No matter what happens, I'm not going to change anything. Even at the cost of my personal liking, I will not change my way of working with people. Now that we have seen a little bit of different traits, what do you think? If you take one particular person, one trait is aligned to him throughout their life? I must tell you, when I told you the story of the boatman, I knew at that particular situation he must have failed. But I know on his next ride he was much more prepared. Because leadership is all about renewing, learning, increasing their competencies and courage. When Alexander left his home, he very enthusiastically, because he was told and guided by his teacher that he has to go and rule the world, he started conquering. He demonstrated autocratic leadership trait. But the same guy at the age of 33, when he was too tired and his people were not aligned to his goal, what did he do? He begged them. He literally told them, like, I know your purpose is to get back home. My purpose was still to reign the world. But what we can do is, let's come a middle ground. We will try and do as much as possible and I will take you back home. And he started returning home. So people change their trait based on situation and based on the crisis that they are faced with. Let me tell you one small story about when I started my career as a junior team lead. I used to handle a group of college recruits. So these were absolutely doing it for the sake of an activity between college and marriage. So they had no interest in really doing anything. It was for them fun at work. Till I go and usher them back to the shop floor, they would not come. So I was an autocratic leader in the sense I micromanaged them. But over a period of time, when my leadership mix started changing, I had people with a little bit of experience coming in, then there were junior team leads reporting into me and then managers reporting to me. I started changing my ways to democratic ways because I needed to consult with them. I needed to ask their opinion whether what I want, what I perceive to be a good goal is something that they can easily achieve, their people can achieve. So things like this taught me that, there is no one trait that you can align it to one particular leader. There are a concoction, sometimes a decoction, a mixture of traits that you add and you create your own concoction. So the whole point of this video was to let you guys know that there is no one trait. There are mixed behavior that you will have to mix and match and bring up, because that's what will make you a good leader, because leadership is all about managing in crisis, people in crisis. This is my personal thought. I hope you have liked this, and if you have liked it, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. My intention is to bring in my own thoughts, my own stories, and then try to give you a little bit of learning. In the process, together we can learn. With that, I take your leave. Thank you so much. Keep watching and bye for now.